NuCom, the German digital story. Please, Claas von Delden, present the company. We're very interested to hear an update.
Thanks, Marco. Thanks a lot. Welcome, everyone, on a warm Friday afternoon. Thanks for being here and not outside with the great weather to hear about NuCom. NuCom, we're a growth investor in consumer internet companies. And what we typically do is we take majority investments in later stage consumer internet businesses, and we help those companies and the teams and the founders to grow and scale their business faster. Now, NuCom Group today comprises 10 companies in our portfolio. All of them are market leaders, meaning either number 1 or 2 in their respective segments. And we group them in 4 clusters. The first cluster is what we call our consumer advice businesses with Verivox and Billiger Mietwagen and Around Home. That's the vertical where we help end consumers to save money. The second vertical is our online matchmaking businesses with the Parship group and all their brands. The third one is our experience business with Jochen Schweizer and My Days. Those from you who are from Germany are probably familiar with the brands. And the fourth vertical is beauty and lifestyle with Flaconi as the lead brand. Now, what is the common denominator? This looks like a really broad portfolio. So what do these companies have in common? All of them, and that's like the investment criteria that we're looking at, all of them are addressing large markets of sustainable consumer needs, and all of them are doing that with a differentiated product or service offering. So all of them have their own USP, and they're not competing with Google or Facebook or Amazon head-to-head, and we consider their models to be defensible. And all of them have what we call an asset-light but marketing-heavy business model, which is where we as NuCom can help them best to scale and grow faster. If you look at our journey, you're going to see on the slide that we basically started the business from scratch a little less than 7 years ago. And we basically had a journey in 3 phases. The first one was smaller deals, actually providing the proof of concept that we could help those consumer internet businesses grow faster with our help. The second one then, after 2015, was where we started doing larger deals with enterprise values north of 200 million euros. And the third one was a phase when we started consolidating the markets that our companies were in. So Parship bought First Elite Partner, and then eHarmony, My Days bought Jochen Schweizer, and we helped the companies to integrate and actually become bigger and more profitable businesses. This year, we target a revenue of 1 billion euros. We're fairly profitable, which is also something that probably sets us apart from a lot of the earlier stage companies that you've seen here during the 2 days. Last year, we did a revenue EBITDA of 100 million euros, and we aim to grow that significantly this year. And typically, the company that we have in our portfolio has doubled both revenue and EBITDA over the past, on an average in 3 years. In order to foster even more growth of that portfolio, last year, about a year ago, we entered into what for us was a landmark deal. We took on General Atlantic as a partner and investor into NuCom. They now have a 30% stake in the company. The rest is still held by our mother company, ProSiebenSat.1. And at the time of the transaction, General Atlantic valued us at 1.8 billion euros. And the reason why we entered into that partnership is what we wanted to become for our portfolio companies. We really wanted to be a best of both worlds approach. We wanted to offer to the companies the expertise, the network, the financial firepower, the analytical rigor of a financial investor, and a world-class one with General Atlantic. And we wanted to provide to them also access to the resources, the reach, the marketing, branding expertise, and also the service network of a large corporate like ProSiebenSat.1, but without the bureaucracy, and without the slow speed, and without the impediments that typically come with it. And in order to do that, we established the NuCom holding. We're a small bunch of people, we're 25 people in Munich, and our job is to actually make that happen, the best of both worlds approach. And we have 50% of our people are investment professionals, and 50% are functional experts that support the companies in topics, anything from brand building to performance marketing, to building a better product, to having a better IT platform and all of that. So that's what we're working on a day-to-day basis. And where do we want to go from here? Because ProSieben is listed on the stock market, we also have to report frequently, so we're pretty transparent with our numbers, and this is like our business plan. We want to double the revenues over the next 5 years from 1 billion this year to 2 billion in 2023, and we want to take EBITDA from roughly 100 million last year to 400 million in 2023. In order to get there, we need roughly 10 to 15% organic growth year over year and some additional M&A. And if you look at the first quarter results this year, we actually grew revenues by 30%, and about half of that was organic, so we see ourselves as quite well underway. If we look at the M&A playbook, we have a pretty rigid criteria which we apply to the companies that we add to the portfolio. First of all is we want to be sure that we can add value to the companies. There should be some synergies, and they can come from the reach of ProSiebenSat.1, they can come from the branding expertise or from integrating into one of our existing businesses. There should be a clear industry rationale, and there should be strong teams who are willing to continue with their business and to grow with our support. And there should be a good risk-return balance, meaning that we don't get crazy on price. We're pretty disciplined on price, but what we offer is future value creation, which we want to share with the teams. So that's our offering, and to give you one small example of how a deal in our portfolio might look like, as some of you may have heard, last year our portfolio company Parship Group, the Parship management team decided to buy eHarmony, which is sort of the category inventor of online matchmaking, the company that first did it out of the US. And we felt it was a little bit of a landmark deal because, at least according to our knowledge, it was the first time that a consumer internet business from Germany was taking over its American role model. Typically, it happens the other way around, so we were a little bit proud of that. And the reason why we did the deal was because, on the one hand, eHarmony is a great asset. Almost 90% of Americans know it. They had 1 billion of marketing invest over the past 10 years. And at the same time, in all the company specifics, we felt Parship Group was actually superior to what they had. They had a better product, they had a better platform, they had more qualified pricing. So we felt we can add a lot of value to the business, and at the same time we could buy eHarmony for a very reasonable multiple. And actually, the Parship team, they're now 6 months into the integration of the business. They're doing an awesome job in it. We've seen the business turn around in the first quarter of this year. We see how they apply one lever after the other, and it really goes according to plan. So we're quite confident that this deal is going to be a lot of profit and success in the future. So what's our long-term vision based on everything I've told you? In the long term, we want to become the #1 growth platform for consumer internet in Europe. And if you have a business that is looking for a partner and that is B2C with a clear USP and asset light, it would be great if you reach out to us because we might be able to create something big in the future. Thank you very much.
You know, I know Greg and Greg, the founders of eHarmony. I've been there many times. But was it profitable when you bought it?
No, but now it is.
You know, I love it. They wanted to buy profitable internet company in German-speaking languages, and then they buy.
We knew we were going to make it profitable in very short term.
No, but you have the team for that.
Yes.
Because they integrated Elite, and it's a fantastic, fantastic deal. Thank you so much, and
Thanks
congratulations.
A lot, Martin.